Rolling.
Center? Do you have any opinion about where it goes?
A little bit more.
To you?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Whenever you're ready to start the sound.
Yep.
This is a pipe. This is not a pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. What you are looking at is not an exact replica of The Tyranny of Images, a painting by René Magritte. For one thing, the painting is of a pipe, and not a hand holding a pipe. Can we take a picture of this? I don't really care if we don't get through it. So yeah, I'm gonna go slide 7. I'm gonna go to camera. I'm gonna go right here. The one thing.
Come back because you got
Where do you think's a good?
more
Okay.
sentences to the end.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Okay. Then if you can see her image in there? In the frame?
Come a bit closer, actually.
Okay. One thing, the painting is of a pipe. Okay, so The Tyranny of Images, a painting by Renee Magritte. For one thing, the painting is of a pipe and not a hand holding a pipe.
Can you see that image on there?
Yes.
It's from there. And if you sit, like the audience? I
If you
have
sit
no
like
idea.
the audience, no.
No.
I think so.
Shit.
Do you want to switch places, Jeannette? Do you want to take the picture?
I can now. I can see it fine. Absolutely perfect.
Okay, cool. Okay. It's gonna fall apart. No, it's fine. Doesn't matter because I'm so relaxed today. My hat is supposed to reference the surrealist iconography of Renee Magritte to give you, the viewer, the platonic idea of a man in a bowler hat. The frame around me signifies that I am a painting. However, I am not a painting.
Okay, now turn all the way. Turn more. Okay, stop there. That's where you need to be. Now talk there. And then turn. Yeah, let's just take a picture there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a painting.
Now turn as you speak.
More an idea of one.
I love you.
That's better?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's also kind of like wasted.
Yeah, where
So
should
if
they
you-
do it?
If you did that upstage, straight upstage.
Straight upstairs like here?
Yeah, and then I've got you on the side here. Yeah, that's cool. Now you're gone, okay.
So I should do that all facing upstage?
Yeah,
That's counterintuitive.
I know, but otherwise this is not doing anything. And that's a perfect screen.
Huh.
It's perfect.
What about the movement? What if I do the movement?
I know, well, that's where the two, your eye looks there on stage, but you see your head.
That's really
Projected on the
interesting.
thing.
I had no fucking
But
idea.
this gets projected on the back of the leg, so we see two of you.
I had no idea. See? So good we're having this rehearsal.
Okay, cool.
Seriously, I had no idea. The frame around me signifies that I'm a painting. However, I'm not a painting. Turn around, make a screen. Make a screen. More an idea of one.
That's right. That's great. So got the capture image from the.
Oh,
Nice.
whatever. Okay, so let me do this again. The frame around me signifies that I'm a painting. However, I'm not a painting. More an idea of one. And I go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then turn around. And then I say, these are not real clouds. Is there a way to get
So
rid
now
of clouds?
this used to work.
When we had white light.
Yeah, no, but that's because I have to go back here and go like nails. And then we go like nails.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know how to do that anymore.
Okay, got it.
So now there's no
Well, that's
light
why
on
it would just be good to have a house light, because it could wash out everything and just shine on the frame. These are not real clouds, more the ideas of clouds. I am a woman, and the painting is of a man. But I, as narrator, author, let's call me IB, let's call me IB, calls the present, is actually a slight fraction of a second later than it happened, due to neural distances and processing time. One of the things that IB is telling a story about is what I, in a different sense, did in that slight fraction of a second ago called now. with the behaving I did, or IA does things, and IB is narrating the life of IA while owning what IA does, because it is all I. The recursive quality of thought is the narrator I owning what the behaving IA does. So to experience, there's one I. But in the world, there are two senses, two aspects to the ontology. One narrates a story, and the other does stuff. Including says stuff. Your hat fell off. Most of the time, the IB is just about in control. Most of the time, the IB is just about on top of the IA, and that is what we call in control. Pick up the hat, dust it off, and put it on the camera. Every once in a while, the IB gets a bit behind, and that can lead to a moment in the story twist when the IB does not like the story and scolds the IA. I can't believe I did that. Really? The narrator can't believe the IA did that? The narrator seems very super ego-like, and I suspect is part of what Freud was talking about. The I is not self-made, and so, what an IB would judge one way or another, maybe mostly culturally, conditioned. The ego itself is the experiencing self and is structured by the audience, the camera, and history. Hurling myself through space from New York City to Missoula, Montana, I found myself dancing on a pathway of arteries, examining the physical and metaphorical condition of my heart, retracing the step backwards from the taxi to the shuttle bus to the plane. I found myself hovering in an airplane overlooking the mountain valley of Missoula, Montana. The 17,000-year-old glacier rock lake basin, reminding myself that I could no longer be the intricate snowflake that I was in New York City. No? Where's the blue flashlight? Is that it? It's red.
It's behind your sheet.
Oh, thanks.
Behind on your sheet?
Just here.
Sorry.
Slightly hidden.
Just go slowly with the torch so I can actually follow it. This light's too light, this one here. I don't know why the lights are much brighter
Do you want
today.
it down a bit?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like what was used last time.
Can you get a picture of that?
I certainly can.
And also from this angle up here,
And it's become like water.
and the actual screen as well.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, so when you say they become like water, so I can actually follow you.
It's become like water. In the the valley, formed by ice action, the abrading of ice, forming cracks. Can we get the crack? Formed by cracks, fault lines, fissures. Let me give this to you. In New York City, I found myself contributing to a book about death at the Emily Harvey Fluxus Gallery. Death.
Can you put a little bit more light on her? Just, yeah, that's too much again.
Death. The absence
Yeah.
of presence. Emily Harvey was no longer in her gallery. Contemplating my own presence, I noticed the occasional premature heart contraction.
Can you take them down a little bit more, the lights? Yeah.
Of a muscle in my chest cavity that feels like a plucked string or a fish flopping in my heart chamber. My story, the story of my death, has not been narrated as it is still unknown. Only time will tell if I'm out of rhythm with my own heartbeat, as it is a long commute from Missoula, Montana, to the art of New York City. Consulting a cardiologist who graphed and decoded the rhythms of my heartbeat, I find that I have a minor arrhythmia. Can we get a picture of this? I'm sorry to make you jump around so much, Chris.
Also, you're talking quieter and quieter.
Okay.
I can hardly hear you myself. Oh, we don't have flash.
So you have to turn the flash off. Consulting a cardiologist, Dr. Roper, who graphed and decoded the rhythms of my heartbeat, I find that I have a minor arrhythmia. So now we need lights back up.
This is where I take that.
Upon the plane's landing in Missoula International Airport, I found myself, if I could do something like turn, I found myself bowing to find a man. Altering my standards to accommodate the socio-economic class of Missoula, Montana, I prepared myself to meet a man with at least 2 years of college and a cabinet full of guns. Dining at a dinner party of Monsieur Cupid, I unexpectedly found myself exchanging information with a man who had multiple PhDs. Picture.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Falling into love against my own resistance, I tumbled into the white sheets, glowing in the moonlight. Crashing into him, he began nesting me and nestling me in my own blankets. My rib cage expanded, opening my heart to this man. I want to move this way. Opening my heart to this man to whom I felt the full moon pulling me. Bodily fluids move like ocean tide. Oh. Okay. Opening myself to him, he fell deeper and deeper into my chest cavity, revealing the depth of my heart chamber, where he began reversing the irregularities of my heartbeat. Resting next to him in equipoise, I find that my parasympathetic nervous system responds peacefully. Nose to nose, I find myself looking into the eyes. Come closer, should I come closer to you?
Come closer, yeah.
Nose to nose, I find myself looking into the eyes of my beloved, pressing our noses together, leaping into the blue ocean of his retina, plunging into the waves of the coral sea, diving into the Great Barrier Coral Reef, connecting myself to the matrix, diving deeper, swimming, swooping, submersing myself into the branching of the brain on love. Dendrites of coral develop arborescent forms as they mature all around and inside of me. Looking at the water, seeing a sea turtle come up for air, rotating his flippers, reveling in his joy of movement. I become mesmerized by his mysterium, and he becomes my yoga teacher. I think about him when I struggle in Kurmasana, or turtle pose. I find that my own turtle pose has regressed with age, so I meditate upon the sea turtle who majestically presented himself to me. He may live to be 150 years of age if he does not confuse plastic floating in the ocean for jellyfish. Hoping he lives his full lifespan, I say a prayer that he lives to be at least 100 years of age. This is my prayer today. Realizing that my great-grandma, Effie Mae Raywalt, and her daughter, my grandma, Muriel Jane Bronson Brown, lived to be 97 and 99 years old. Looking at the coral around me, realizing that this branch of my family tree is a vein that I carry within me. It's a vein that I carry, like a Russian nesting doll. Each doll contains the family branch. I am not the last in line. I am not old. I am the present generation in which a branch has grown inside of me, like branches of coral, the matrix of the living animal of coral, fractiles inside of fractiles, amalgamated like cauliflower florets, emerging
Can I
from...
get a shot of this, please? Because that's just beautiful.
Thanks, Jeannette.
Lift your hand up a little bit more on your right. That's it. Perfect. Down a bit. A bit more up in between that. Yeah, yeah.
Emerging from my dive with great vigor and renewed connection, I become the bride. I'm going to do bride of now, but that's good. I become the bride of now. Whee! Now I do a little dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Then we have a sound change.
A little bit up and that side.
Parking my car in the sub-zero temperatures, the blood in my heart freezes in the darkness of winter. My beloved would not help me drop my car off for repairs. So I find myself walking in the freezing cold. Without my car, I become stranded, and he seems to take pleasure in my hardship. Crazy making becomes apparent all around me. The next day, I wish this was more specific. That's kind of wonky. More red flags pop up. The next day, more red flags pop up. My yoga mat is walked on with muddy sneakers. Footprints are left on my heart. We were we're supposed to do yoga together. I put my mat down on the floor, and he sends me out into the cold to get a yoga mat for him out of the car. I go out to the car while he reads Badiou. I bring the yoga mat in, I put it down next to mine, then he has me roll it back up. Then he has me put it down, roll it back up, take it back out to the car. I take it back out to the car while he reads Badiou. I do yoga alone, and he blames me for his not doing yoga and makes me feel guilty for doing yoga. Fucking asshole. Charts, prickles, word splinters without actions of love pierce my heart. Words of love juxtaposed with muddy sneakers walking across my yoga mat. Juxtaposing words of love with actions of obstruction. Crazy making becomes apparent all around me. Has this crazy love ever happened to you? Then we go back to freezing. So, I don't really have a transition here. Do you have anything that I should do, Jeannette? So I just finished. Has this crazy love ever happened to you? I could even be here. Has this crazy love ever happened to you?
Cool. Then that gives me time to pick up the bottle, turn the camera.
The water became rigid and frozen and cracked and broke. And we broke up. It's not that I was cracked and that I was the reason for the crack. Huh. Crazy making became apparent all around me. The lights came on. The lights came on, I don't know my lines. So the lights came on. My arrhythmia came back. Okay, my arrhythmia came back. My blood pressure went up. The lights came on. He had presented many red flags. Dendrites recede. Sorry, I should be up here. Dendrites recede. That's so beautiful. Dendrites recede with dysthymia. The brain can be destroyed with emotional dysfunction. Drawn into distortion.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Especially of Jeannette and what she's doing, so that I can tell people in Montana when I do this again how fabulous she is. I'm serious. I'll be like, Jeannette came up with this image. It's so fucking amazing.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Infinity
Dendrites receive with dysthymia. The brain can be destroyed with emotional dysfunction, drawn into distortion, drawn into destruction. And then we need a transition. See, this transition never feels right to me. I'm just standing here and we go into Death Drive Overdrive. Death Drive Overdrive, the deregulation of guns, land, and food. The internalized denial of the impending destruction. Piles and piles of guns are amassed. People tremble in fear and isolation. Sales skyrocket with each mass shooting. The kindergarten shooting, the church shooting, the movie theater shooting. No one wants to exercise the right to assemble peacefully. Everyone wants to deregulate their guns. Guns are amassed and people tremble in fear and isolation. We deregulate the land and the water so that it can be fracked for natural gas.
Yes.
The water and the land, the water and the food become toxic. Fracking fluid and processed food are no longer labeled. The secret formulas are secret. We may be eating a potato, or we may be eating a corn cob that looks like a potato. Fracking fluid is in our drinking water. Fracking next to the geological wonders of Glacier National Park may lead to the next oncoming ice age. More divorce, as sex is commodified. The breaking down of social structures, of bridges, roads, of neural pathways. Nothing is sacred. The voiceless and the powerless are being blamed. The new liberals deregulate their guns and ammo, eroticism for the right to amass piles and with the super rich, in solidarity for the right to amass piles and piles of weapons. And, okay, let me do that again. The new liberals deregulate their guns and ammo eroticism with the super rich for the right to amass piles and piles of weapons and deregulate and regulate women's bodies. Now I have a big change. All the shit in my blanket. I've really got to secure this stuff. I don't know how. Okay. So I'm going to do a little Louis filler. Whee! That's good. So thanks for having that sound. I'm sorry to bother you, but if we could document this so that we can see that Jeannette is holding a projector and 2 flashlights, and then I'm jumping around.
And then just not gonna hold it over your head.
Okay.
And that's not good.
That?
Yeah. Keep your head down. If you come down, go down a little bit so you kind of can touch you.
Stick my tongue out.
Trying to get my
That's good probably, huh?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Rocking myself in the hammock. Reminding myself that I'm over 70% water. Bodily fluids move inside like ocean tides. Drops of rain begin to fall from the sky. Cocooning myself in the fabric of the hammock. Trying to stay dry. I separate myself from the rain by creating a barrier. Inside the barrier, water begins to well up inside my eyes. I cry salty drops, feeling the pain of my broken heart. I fall into a depressed sleep state and dream of the big red trike of my childhood. Should I turn here? Should I turn between every section? Rotating the pedal with the arch of my foot. Balancing on the big, metallic red tricycle of my childhood. Knees up to my ears. My sweaty foot slips off. Up on the hillside, looking out over the pavement. How far is it? In agony, I struggle. I cannot undo myself from the need to arrive on time. I cell phone the school attendance secretary and inform her of my latent pending arrival. Better late than never is the reply. Poised at the top of the hill, like a drop of water, accumulating before the drip, I let go. Unsupported in my circumstances, I tumble down the hill and roll over the top of the handlebars. For the moment, I'm stuck in my helplessness, losing confidence in my ability to move forward. I retreat into a nearby store. I shop to see what is in store for me. Alone in my ideas, I purchase a blank canvas and roll it into a tube. Holding the tube in one hand, balancing on 3 wheels, I ride with the other hand, grasping the grip. Pushing off again and again, eyes on the horizon. Ah! The utterly ineffable Mysterium tremendum fascinum. I choose to transcend fear with courage. I choose connection and life. Connection and life. Life and connection. My spine is a tree on which my head is balanced. The landscape of my body. My feet fill with sand, clay, and become clay and mud. My spine is a tree on which my head is balanced. Oh, what is that? Eastern concept. Everything contains its opposite. What goes up must come down. Throughout the history of the world, there have been many earthquakes, many glaciers melting and making lakes and then drying up. My ancestors were Nordic, moving from France to Scotland to Ireland, and then escaping religious persecution to the Americas via Canada. We are all travelers passing through this world in physical form. The lights go down to reveal what is real. Our life paths crisscrossing in this room. The lights come on to reveal what is real. Myself performing for you in a room. Yay! Yay! Someday there'll be an audience. Yay!
Excellent.
That was good, because it got more specific. Okay, yay. Hack it up. So we were able to document the effects for my repetition when I tell people how fabulous the spark